Hello, hello, and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. On behalf of OTC Markets, we're very pleased you have joined us for our two-day metal mining conference. Our next presentation is from Camino Minerals. Please note you may submit questions for the presenter in the box to the left of the slides. You can also view a company's availability for a one-on-one meeting by clicking Book a Meeting in the top toolbar. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome Jay Shimelakis, Chief Executive Officer and President of Camino Minerals, which trades on the OTCID under the symbol CAMZF and on the TSXV under the symbol COR. Welcome, Jay.
Well, thank you very much, Greg, for that introduction. It's a pleasure to be back speaking at the OTC conference. We spoke last May, and I think what you'll see with Camino is just a continued investor dialogue as we develop our growth company here, Camino Minerals, in the copper sector. Just a quick report card. Last May, we were talking about the recent acquisition of our Puquios permitted asset in Chile, and then secondly, exploration coming up at our Los Chapitos project. Fast forward to today, our report card shows that the stock is up about 50%. On the back of these milestones that we talked about in May. And we are just getting started on two fronts, developing a copper mine in Chile and advancing our exploration in Peru. So for new investors, I encourage you to join what we're doing. Camino means the road, the path, it's a journey, and join us as we build our copper company. We'll be making forward-looking statements throughout the presentation. Just an overview, I think I gave it to you. We've got two flagship assets, one a development project in Chile, and then our exploration assets in Peru, notably Los Chapitos. Investment highlights for new investors. We're building a company, a growth company that has near-term cash flow through a producing asset that we're building, or will be building in Chile. And you're going to see throughout the presentation that you're dealing with a very experienced management team, experienced partners, Nitetsu Mining and Denham Capital. Myself, I've developed two similar companies, growth companies, one in the gold space. The company's now China Gold International. It was a $10 million company in 2003. It's now over $5 billion. We developed one of China's largest gold mines. And then secondly, I was former CEO of Western Lithium, which is now Lithium Americas, the two assets in Argentina and in Nevada. So we know where we think we can go with these companies in terms of building long-term going concerns, and we're just getting started at Camino. The milestones that we will achieve over as new investors over the coming quarters and years. Just going back, 2024, we drilled two of our projects, Maria Cecilia and Los Chapitos in Peru. 2025, we completed the acquisition of Puquios in Chile, and more results from Los Chapitos. As I said, the share price is just starting to perform now. 2026 to 2027, we'll be building our project, our copper project in Chile. We will be advancing exploration in Peru towards delineation studies for a resource there. In 2028, we expect to have one producing mine in Chile. We expect to be looking at how we can upgrade or expand that production from that mine in Chile, number one. And then number two, we're looking at Los Chapitos as our second mine to develop in Peru on the back of the exploration that we'll be doing over the next 2 years. So it's a nice growth profile. Beyond that, we are a business that is active on acquisitions, and so you'll see the company grow on multiple fronts. Why are we building a copper business? It's because it's the right metal at the right time. Copper demand it looks extremely strong from two fronts. One, the demand from electrification that we're seeing in the world right now, infrastructure, demographic growth around the world. And number two, which is not as well publicized, but it's just the supply deficits that are coming on with mines near the end of their life. Many mines have been, were first discovered decades ago, They're coming to the end of their life, and also grades are dropping. So you've got two drivers, which ultimately drive the copper price. And we're seeing copper at all-time highs. This last week, the futures for copper were well over $5.50. All of our economics are done at $4.25 a pound. So we're going into a nice copper market. We think we've got the right assets at the right time. What I'm going to do is the last presentation of many, I flew you down to Chile. This time, I'm going to fly you down to Peru and take a look at our assets that we just released some results on. So these are the channel samples that we put a press release out on a few weeks ago. This is me standing there with our geologist about 3 weeks ago in Peru. We're seeing oxide copper at surface there. We also see sulfides. There you see bornite in the rock. This channel sample was sampled just north of our main Adriana outcrop. There you see more green oxidized copper at surface. This is where the company has been drilling, over 20,000 meters of drilling. We've got an internal resource on this part of the deposit, and we're looking at doubling this resource so that we can start to put a mine plan around this asset. And so we're flying down to a place called Cadi now. Again, more green copper at surface. The Earth is just telling us that there's a major body below us feeding all of these copper exposures at surface. We put out a press release on this asset, in Cadi about a month ago. 7 meters of 4.3% copper. You see more, 12 meters of 2.3% copper at Peloto. This area is opening up. We've done some drilling at Cadi, which I'll show you later. But now we're expanding Cadi to the south and to the west. Flying back to Mirador, as I said, we put out a press release with high-grade copper over a 90-meter interval. When you look at this depiction here, this schematic, we're seeing a lookalike to Adriana, where we've got, green oxidized copper in the volcanics above an intrusive either breccia or intrusive rock. And really all of this copper we're seeing at surface is coming from somewhere. When we see mineralization in intrusive rocks, perhaps we're looking at that source of mineralization. So it's an exciting time for Camino to be opening up this area. As a new investor, you can follow us. You can see, this is from 3 weeks ago. You can follow our exploration and follow the excitement of how you develop a new mine in a jurisdiction like Peru. When we do drill these assets, these locations, we get exceptional results. Here you can see, in Adriana, where we flew over, nice results, 95 meters of 0.85% copper, and we got high grade throughout, 3% up to 5%. And the same, when we go 1.4 kilometers to the north in Lourdes, some similar high grade numbers and good results. And Cadi, we're seeing similar results to what we're seeing in these channel samples. 9 meters at 2.3% copper. So we'll be drilling this likely in September as we build our geological models around Cadi, around Mirador, and even Lourdes is another area that you'll see us continue to drill. Where I've just been talking about is along the Diva Trend. We've got 3 major copper corridors on this 220 square kilometer land package, 100 square miles. It's a big area. We've also identified, which we're very excited about, the La Estancia Fault corridor, copper corridor. Sombrero Blanco in particular looks like a very good target. We expect to bring some of our insights on when and how to drill Sombrero Blanco likely in August of this year. So more to come. When you follow that La Estancia, fault controlled, a lot of this copper is what's called structurally controlled. When you follow that structure across our property off the page, that's where you see Rio Tinto has staked ground. Rio Tinto is one of the largest copper companies in the world. So clearly Rio Tinto thinks that the geology that we have at Camino, at Los Chapitos, could host a deposit that would be worthy for one of the largest copper companies in the world. And the ultimate prize in the district would be Minsur, Mina Justa, you see there to the north in pink. And that was one of the world's newest copper mines, built for $1.6 billion. We're in the same package of rocks. It's an excellent district to build mines in there. Notably, there's other mines in Marcona and Pampa de Pongo, iron ore mines. So that's exploration in Peru. Now I'm going to bring us down to Chile on the development front. Puquios is an asset that we've just acquired, so we're really trying to educate the market about an asset that is near permit, or sorry, is permitted for near production, and it's construction ready. This is an asset where we have a reserve category. So the exploration has been done for the first phase to start the production of the mine. We've got a reserve category that would take the mine into production for, here you see the highlights of our engineering study, 14-year mine life, notably the capital, $142 million. So this is a project that is well within you know, the grasp of Camino and our partner Nititsu to build. And all-in sustaining costs in the first years are, you know, on average $1.68. Well below the $4.25 that we're using for our economics, and well below the current market today. All-in sustaining costs over the life of mine would be about $2 with a 23% IRR. So this is a nice, robust project in today's copper price, but we expect the copper price to move and we'll be into production. On the infrastructure side, you need water, you need power, you need access. We have those. We own our water wells, fresh water for the mine site. We have a deal with Barrick Gold. They have a power station near our project where we can drop a power cell that will connect us to the grid. And then we use a well-maintained road that's maintained by Barrick to access our project. It's low elevation, think about just under 1,500 meters. So this is a type of project for a company like Camino to be successful at building. And there's upside to Puquios. So what you see in pink there is our 14-year mine life. What you see below that is a projection of a large sulfide body below. And so we expect once we get our first phase into production that through additional exploration and engineering, we can increase the size of this mine, we think quite substantially. You know, we're using, working with Nova Mineralis in terms of what kind of processing we would use below what you see there in red. The project shows a nice profile here, a cash flow generator, and our investment thesis is to be a producer while we go through this next market cycle, so that we're producing cash flow. That cash flow can be used to develop our second project, which we think would be Los Chapitos in Peru, and continue to build you know, a growth company and a copper business in this next cycle. I mentioned our partners, Nititsu, are building 3 projects in Chile on my next slide. And Denham Capital in their own right have been developing mining projects throughout the world. They've raised over $12 billion. And notably, you know, one of their recent mines that they're developing outside of Camino is in Brazil, their rare earth mine down there, Serra Verde. Nititsu, as I mentioned, developing, they operate the Atacama Kozan mine in Chile. They're building a $400 million mine just near Puquios, our mine, called Arqueros. And when the construction of Arqueros finishes, around the second quarter of 2026, that's when we expect to start building Puquios with a good operator like Nititsu. So the main drivers for growth and value, we believe, over the coming months in the next year is going to be from Los Chapitos exploration and getting a re-rating on our Puquios project in Chile. But we have more. You know, if you look below the hood of Camino, as we get into a copper cycle here, you'll see a project like Maria Cecilia, which has had over 30 million invested in this project. This project alone has had more invested in it than our market cap today. We've got a 43-101 resource on this project. It's in a similar geology, similar state to one of, province to one of Peru's largest copper mines, Antamina. And really, this district hosts some of the largest copper mines in the world. We're in this district. And so this is a project that you know, we can continue to advance in the right market as we, you know, once we get past our first stages here of developing Puquios and developing Los Chapitos. Notably, our best holes, you know, 40 meters or 1.3% copper and gold equivalent. This is a copper-gold moly system. and 66 meters at 1.5% copper equivalent below that. So there's more to Camino as we start to develop our business. When you compare Camino to some of our closest peers, we think we're ahead. In particular on the engineering and the permitting front. So our project in Chile is really in a position where you add capital and you start building. So this is where we're working on a financial package to bring Puquios into production, which would then cash flow the rest of our business on a go-forward basis. These are very rare assets, I have to say. I mean, to develop an asset like Puquios, you can see a timeline here. It can take decades, and it has taken decades. So for a new investor that's looking at entering the copper space, you want to be involved with an entrepreneurial management team in a growth company. You're right at the time here where you've got a project that's taken decades to develop to this stage. You can invest and see the re-rating. And this is how we've positioned the company. And when you get a re-rating, like the Lassonde curve here, this is where the wealth is created and value is created in the copper business. And this is by design. We've got Puquios at the bottom of the curve here in terms of going into production. And then you'll see Los Chapitos with the exploration results that were very active over the coming months here, creating value on that exploration and discovery front. And then other assets behind that. I mentioned Maria Cecilia. We've got a strong team. You'll see here some names, behind Denham Capital, the $12 billion PE firm. Other names, that have built, some very successful companies, Silver Standard, Pretium, myself, with Jinshan Gold Mines and Lithium Americas, Western Lithium. Yeah, we think we're in an excellent position here to build a copper company with the right people. And we like to do the right thing. The mine that I built in China, Chongshan Mine in Inner Mongolia, it's now the showcase mine for China Gold International in China. There's a lot of rewards. You see me there in the community, speaking to communities. We think that mining provides opportunities and investment, and it's a good thing that can create wealth in some of these very remote communities. And so we feel good about what we're doing in the world to develop an enabling metal, copper metal, to advance electrification, infrastructure, and also it helps these communities that we're working in. So just my last few slides here to wrap it up. We've got 2 minutes for my 20-minute presentation. The investment thesis, we think we've de-risked our assets as much as you can. So the risk reward is in favor of investors, and myself included. I'm a large investor in this company. We've got an excellent management team. We've got good partners, Nititsu and Denham Capital. We've got assets that we think show robust economics, and a tried and true operator in Nititsu in these jurisdictions in Chile that we operate. So mining is inherently risky, but we think we've reduced the risk as much as possible to build a growth business here. Our capital structure is relatively tight, 68 million shares outstanding. Denham Capital is our largest shareholder with over 40% of the company. So we think it's a good time as a new investor, take a look at what we're doing. By all means, have a call after this presentation to get to know the company a little bit more. And join us. Join our exploration journey in Peru and our re-rating and development experience in Chile. With that, I'll finish my presentation and we'll go to question and answer. Thank you very much. Okay, so I think everyone can still hear me now, so I'll just read out some of these questions and answer accordingly. So do you have a timeline on when you will be outlining the fall drilling program at Los Chapitos? So loosely, we'd like to get drilling in September of this year. We think we can meet that timeline. What we need to do is get excavators to the site, which is happening this week. Open up Mirador so that we get more exposures all the way up into the volcanics above it. The same with Caddy, take more samples, take assays. And what we have to do is build a geological model. So we've got these, we've got these exposures. Now we have to figure out how it all fits together and then put a drill campaign around it. We've got some loose ideas of where we want to drill, but we have to firm that up with a geological model. We also add Lourdes into that as well, which we didn't talk about today. So I expect that we'll be drilling around September once we have our geological model in place. Just FYI, we could start drilling tomorrow. We're funded through Nititsu to do that, but we want to get our geological model in place and get these assays and new results to the market, but also for our own purposes, so that we put the drill. You got to put the drill where the metal is. So that's what we're going to be working on doing. Next question. Yeah, so what are your milestones over the next 18 months, and will you need to raise capital to support this? So our milestones is really, it's two. It's continue to drill Los Chapitos, to expand the intercepts that we've had in the past, notably at Caddy, at Mirador, at Lourdes, along the Diva trend, and then Sombrero Blanco along that La Estancia trend that I mentioned earlier. That's number one. And then number two is to develop a financial package so that we can make a final investment decision at the end of 2025. So in the next 6 months, so that we can start construction activities, and move the construction crew that's currently building the Arqueros mine in Chile with Nititsu, and move that crew over to Puquios to build that asset. So in particular, we're funded by Nititsu's investments in Peru. With Chile, we will be raising capital to develop that project, and we're just going through the debt and equity package now to determine when and what we need to do in order to make that final investment decision at the end of the year. Next question. So thoughts on valuation, and what are the catalysts for a re-rating? Well, I think a catalyst for the re-rating of Puquios is to bring a debt package into Camino that says we're going to build it, that we've got a bank to support this. We're talking to both Western and Japanese banks to do this. We think it's financeable based on the discussions that we're having to date. And just looking at that curve, if you go back to my Lassonde curve, there are certain milestones there, but effectively get a debt package in place, and the market will recognize that this is going into production, and then you start to get on that value chain, and you build, you construct, pre-commissioning, commissioning, and production, and that's where you get your re-rating. Next question here. Project budgets for the year. We've got Nititsu is spending or investing about 3 million Canadian into Peru over the next 12 months. So that goes into Peru. And as I mentioned earlier, we're putting our financial package together for the development project in Chile. It's 142 million in capital. Nominally, we'll have 100 million in debt, which leaves 42 million of equity. 21 million of that would be attributed to Nititsu, and 21 million to Camino. So that's what we're looking at into 2026 to develop that mine. Okay. Okay, well, I think we're near the end of our presentation period here, so I'll leave it there. I encourage anyone on this call to notify the company, stay informed with our news releases, set up a call with management, set up a call with myself. Let's get to know each other, and let's build a company together as stakeholders in the copper space. Thank you very much for your time. We'll see you next time.